Hi, did you hear about the Billionaires protest this weekend? That's right. This weekend, the Billionaires are going in all over the United States. And what they're doing is that they're using illegal immigrants and just regular Americans to help them in their quest of globalism. And that's what it is. You know, they are making people think that they're protesting against ICE. That's not what you're doing. What they're really doing is that they're causing chaos because that is how they plan to.
Hello family, today we'll be talking about the No Kings protest that is supposed to take place in USA date 14th June. The protest will be on 14th June since it aligns with Trump's 79th birthday. The marches will take place across major cities in the United States. Christy Walton is funding protests and protesters. Walmart came out and distanced themselves in a very weak statement against her involvement in the protest. Regardless, her pockets are directly connected to Walmart, so the way to hurt her is through her pocketbook. Well, Heiress Christy Walton is one of the richest women in America. Has clearly joined a small group of billionaires speaking out against Donald Trump. Christy paid to take out a full-page advertisement in the New York Times on Sunday, calling readers to mobilize on Saturday, June to the streets. Let's watch the following video.
It's happening all over the globe. And if you look at it, who's paying for it? You can always look. You can usually find out. And luckily, our Department of Justice has done a great job in finding out who's paying for all of these protests, all of these rallies, because, you know, not only do they have rocks and bricks that they have set up in places, but they even have masks, $30 masks set up. That all of this was paid for by some of the wealthiest people in the world. And so you have to ask yourself, are you going to help participate in something to destroy your country so that the wealthiest people in the world can say that they run you and every other country in the world? Anyway, they're planning, I think they call it their No Kings protest this weekend. Yeah, you know what that means? That means that they don't want sovereign countries. They want to run everybody. So that's why they're saying no kings. They don't want a king, and they call Donald Trump a king, which I think is funny. But instead of calling him, they're not saying no presidents, because if they said no presidents, then people would start getting a little suspicious over what is their goal? What are they trying to do? But you know what they're doing? And I hope that you're not involved. All they're doing is getting people, regular people, to go and fight a battle that they have worked on for decades. This is not something new. So all of these illegal immigrants, all of these regular people who are out here protesting for the Billionaire March this weekend, please make sure that you know what it is that you're protesting. They're not protesting ICE. They're just telling you that. They're protesting your country. And I hope you understand that you're helping them in trying to take down the United States of America. Anyway, I just thought I'd tell you that.
So Christy Walton comes out today, which is the heiress of Walmart, and she takes an ad in the New York Times basically saying, no kings. Now, whether she is on the side of Donald Trump or not on the side of Donald Trump, I can tell you one thing, that most of Donald Trump's supporters, or many of them, shop at Walmart. So why would you come out and reveal your hatred for the President of the United States of America, basically going against all of MAGA Nation, saying we don't care what you think, how you feel, who you voted for, even though that you're a shopper at Walmart, because you don't give a shit about your customers? And you think that for a second that this is not going to affect business? Today, let me be very clear, the heiress of Walmart took a full-page ad out in the New York Times rebuking, basically the President of the United States of America by saying no kings allowed, and just joining on the bandwagon about Donald Trump wanting to be a king. which is the most silliest thing I've ever thought, I ever saw, as he put a mockery about the whole thing, putting a crown on his head and all that as a joke. So, but with that said,
a flyer just surfaced with one name at the bottom, and it's a name you've definitely heard before. The flyer calls for a June 14th mobilization, public-facing, patriotic-sounding, filled with statements about veterans, rule of law, and standing by allies. Nothing strange. Until you read the bottom. Paid for by Christy Walton. Yes, that Christy Walton. Part of the Walton family, heirs to the Walmart empire, one of the richest families in the world. And it doesn't stop there. The flyer links to a group reportedly tied to No King's Day, a political movement calling for major change and rumored to be organizing behind-the-scenes protests. Is it illegal? No, but it's interesting, because Walmart is also one of the biggest sellers of tactical gear in America. So if protesters are using bionic shields, and if someone's funding those protest days, and if that name connects back to Walmart wealth, don't you think people deserve to know? Drop a emoji eyeball if you want more eyes on this, and tag someone who still thinks billionaires don't pull the strings. In spite of what we're told, always follow the money.
When corporations fund protests, you have to really wonder what the heck is going on. The No Kings protest that's happening all over America on June 14th, funded by Walmart. Right there, paid for by Christy Walton. Christy Walton is the billionaire heiress of Walmart, worth almost $20 billion. What do you think her end game here is? Like, is she really worried about authoritarianism or human rights abuses? Or is she just after cheap labor? Okay, over 70% of SNAP recipients and Medicaid users were full-time workers, and many of them are from Walmart. The irony is certainly not lost on me that the biggest organized protest against a so-called king is being organized by an oligarch. I mean, I don't think it's by accident that the bottom 50% of China holds twice as much wealth as the bottom 50% of America. Okay, China is the blue line, America is the red line. This should wake a lot of people up. Like, think about it. Why is China, where we get all our cheap goods from, why are they able to pay their workers, but not us? It's almost like they're trying to distract us from everything other than paying people a living wage.
So the MAGA crowd is boycotting Walmart now. Why? Because Christy Walton, the widow of the son to the Walmart empire, took out a full-page ad in the New York Times trashing Trump's idea for a damn military parade. Basically, she said what needed saying, and MAGA lost their shit. Now look, I've been avoiding the inside of Walmart for a while, and not because I'm fancy. Hell no. I'm a garbage man. I avoid Walmart for the same reason I don't climb into the bin at the end of my shift. I'm surrounded by trash all day, and I don't need any more of it on my own time. And let's be real, Walmart's been getting pretty rough lately. Not the workers, admittedly, they're doing their best. But the customer base, that place is a breeding ground for flip-flop fights and aisle arguments. So when MAGA says they're staying out, that is absolutely music to my ears. They think they're sticking it to the Waltons, but all they're really doing is cleaning up the store. For once, the trash is taking itself out. So thanks, MAGA. You made Walmart great again by fucking leaving it.
So Christy Walton has been proved 100% involved in, I don't know, not going to say the riots, but the protests going on all around the country. She also has been promoting a full-page ad in the New York Post calling for a No Kings protest on the 14th when Donald Trump is trying to give a parade for our military and show the 250th anniversary and be proud of our military and of our country. She, this woman who owns billions of dollars worth of shares of the Walmart company, was married to one of the Walton brothers, and he died in a plane crash, and she inherited all his billions of dollars. This woman doesn't even live in the United States anymore. She lives overseas, and she very much dislikes Donald Trump. One of the reasons why, possibly, is because of these tariffs with China. 90% of all the merchandise from Walmart comes from China, and these tariffs are definitely hurting her pocket a little bit. So she wants her voice to be heard. What is she doing? She's paying and promoting these protests all around the country. She's paying and promoting ads for this No King's Day coming up on the 14th. She's doing everything she can do. She's also been allegedly connected, and I have to say that we're allegedly, to handing out or supplying gas masks and other things that come directly from Walmart. Walmart themselves have come out and posted that they are pushing away from her and that she is not a part of Walmart anymore. She just owns shares and stocks. She's not employed by the company, obviously. Irregardless, the way this woman gets and makes and keeps her money is through the shares of Walmart. And that means the only way to hurt her is through her pocket. And what we all have to do is boycott Walmart, do another Budweiser boycott, do whatever we have to do. Stop shopping at Walmart, go to other places. Don't let this woman use our money to go and protest America and Donald Trump.
Hi, I'm sure you don't know who Christy Walton is, but she is the heiress of Walmart. She's worth about $18 billion. And if you look at the No King's Day protest that's going on June 14th, her name is all over it. She's not even hiding it. She's paying for it. Why? Because Trump told Walmart to eat the tariffs because they have made billions last year. So you want them to pay their fair share, but you side with them if they don't like your president?
So check this out. You know who Christy Walton is? Yeah, as in Walmart, one of the heirs to Walmart. Yeah, her, that Christy Walton. She is funding a major part of No Kings. No Kings as in Nationwide Day of Defiance, also known as 17 Cities, one event. Now, if you go on their website, nokings.org, you can simply put in your zip code and find a meeting location near you. Now, what you might find is a lot of these meeting locations are at a Walmart or other businesses owned by a Walmart. Here's something else. She is also chartering buses to deliver loads of people to rural areas. Now, no shame or hate to the country folk. I get it. Love you guys. Y'all are some of the ones that protect our country the most. But I'm guessing that you have about 357 reasons that you're not going to call 911 first when things go sideways. Am I right? Okay, so delivering these people who are being paid $200 a day to get, quote, rowdy, unquote, to rural areas, that means National Guard's not going to come in, police force is not going to come in. You're going to have the people who really respect and love their land, the patriots, the true patriots, the ones who have that boiling blood for doing right or protecting their land and their family and their homes. You're going to have them with 357 reasons to not allow you to take over. This is not a peaceful protest. This is now inciting, I can't say it on here, but before you decide to get involved in all of this and take that bus ride because you're so broke that you need $200 a day to participate in this, just keep in mind what ball you're kicking that is going to get this event rolling. That flick of the domino. What domino effect do you think this is going to have?
About what is actually going on with Walmart and these peaceful protests, not just in LA, but literally across the entire country. So I want to jump into that. But again, I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. I'm going to wait for somebody to say yes. Normally somebody will jump in and give me a thumbs up or a 5x5 so I know what's going on. And then we're going to get into the nitty gritty of everything that's happening, especially because you need to know what happens in technically 4 days, which I probably should have, Holly, thank you. I probably should have put that in the title, that you have 4 days before all of this goes absolute haywire in this country. So we talked here maybe in March 23rd, 24th, 25th, somewhere around that time. I don't know if y'all remember, if you were here for it, where we talked about how the heir to the Walmart fortune placed an ad in the New York Times that was supposed to be like a bipartisan kind of ad because now she's trying to get into government, and instead it came across very Trump divisive is how I like to phrase that. So I was scrolling social media yesterday, as I have a tendency to do while I'm using the restroom, because what else are you going to do while you're in the bathroom, right? So I'm scrolling social media and I see this post from Hodge Twins over on X, and it has a picture of what looks to be the exact same post from March from the Walmart heir, whatever her name is, which I can't remember to save my life right now. Hold on, I have my notes, but I'm very slow this morning. Christy Walton, she placed an ad in March for, like I told you. So then Hodge Twins posted a picture that looked exactly like like the ad from March, except for this one had the word "No Kings" across the top of it, and it's still the Statue of Liberty, but instead of holding the flame, it was a picture of a crown with like a mark through it. And I was like, is this real? Because I recognize everything else looked real. So then I go to Grok and I asked Grok, I said, hey, listen, was there actually an ad taken out in the June 8th, 2025 issue of the New York Times? Was there actually an ad taken out by Christy Walton? And Grok is like, well, I have no definitive answer on that. I can't tell you if there was or not. So I'm doing all this research, trying to find out if it's actually real, because I don't have a physical copy of the New York Post or New York Times in my hands, right? So I go looking for it. And I want to show you guys, let me see if I can get my email back up here, because, you know, iPads and how they work. The original post from Christy Walton, which I should have saved to show you guys. Hold on. Christy Walton, look, I'm half-assed on this morning, and I do apologize. It's because I was going to do this later, and I decided that we need to have this conversation now. Christy Walton ad March 2025. Hold on. I want to show you the picture of it so that the rest of this makes more sense, and it didn't occur to me to save it earlier. I don't know why. Sometimes my brain does its job, and sometimes it's absolute horseshit. Here is the original post, if it will pull up. I'm also in really crappy service. So this is the original post. It's going to be backwards, but this is the original post that Christy Walton had put in the New York Times in March.
The advertisement appears to be an escalation of one she paid for in March, also in the Times print edition. At the top of the advertisement are the words "No Kings," which appears to be a reference of a political organization that's coordinating hundreds of anti-Trump protests across the US. This Saturday, June 14th, the same day, Trump is slated to host a military parade in Washington, D.C. Organization of the counter-protests told Axios they are expecting this to be the largest single-day rally since the start of the administration. Do you support this march? Will you actively march on the streets with Walmart, Heiress, Christy, Walton? Let me know what you think about this episode on the comment section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, family. Bye.